This is a meeting of the Township Committee. This is a meeting of the Township Committee, May 1st, 2017. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the Trooper Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building a filing of the Township Code on January 5th, 2017. Committeeman Fiore.
Here.
Committeeman Massell.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Sharpler.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. First item on tonight's agenda, we have an introduction of proposed ordinance 2017-3196, an ordinance amending the zoning map within Chapter 540 of the Township Code entitled Planning and Development Regulations.
I move for introduction. Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Sharpler.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 15, 2017. This time we have introduction of proposed ordinance 2017-3197, an ordinance adopting redevelopment plan for block 137, lots 2.07, 3, 5, 6, and 7, block 281, lots 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 15, block 306, lots 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 66, 110, 122, 123, 130, 131, 132, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 169, 170, 171, and 172. Block 319, Lot 1, Block 320, Lot 1, Block 321, Lot 1, Block 322, Lot 1, Block 323, Lot 1, Block 324, Lot 1, Block 325, Lot 1, on the official tax map of the Township of Middletown.
Move for introduction. Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Sharpler.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 15, 2017. At this time, we have the public hearing and adoption of the amendment to the 2017 municipal budget resolution 17-142.
Any members of the public would like to speak to ordinance number 17-142? Yes, sir.
Leo Christofoli, River Plaza, Middletown. I see on the second page of the amendment, I think it's a 3-sheet that you're voting on to change this tonight. Is this correct? Your paint. Is this ordinance have to deal with this 3-page? You're amending?
Yes.
Someone say yes?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm on page 2. Most of the time I'm not interested in other expenses. However, there's an amount I just want to be sure about in the middle of the page. The last item under 8, general appropriations, it says other expenses gives 2 numbers. It changed from such and such to $3,438,591.34. Could you explain what that is? It so many things involved, or is it one thing like the library?
Well, that change is a subtotal of many lines in the budget. Since this is an amendment, it just restates those totals. and it's showing you that there's a $5,000 difference in the other expense, which is from the grant that's listed above, which is what the amendment is partially for. The Discover New Jersey History Grant is $5,000, went from 0 to 5,000. So therefore, when you subtotal the pages in the budget, the other expenses comes down and also increases by 5,000.
Yeah, I think the point of my question is, could you, if it's such a long list, could you give me some main examples of what those other expenses are laid out for, or laid out from and/or for?
Well, therefore, the items that are excluded from the appropriation cap within the budget, which is included in the budget document, that's anything grants, debt service, library, LoSAP. There's a number of items, and any of that is available for review on the budget document.
The expenses have to, who's paying the expenses? LoSAP is the government to volunteers, right?
Well, it's for a volunteer retirement program.
Okay, and the government here pays what expenses for the library? I understand that the library is being charged money up to over $3 million.
Well, the library's not being charged that. The library has a separate levy, which is raised for that. And then they have the same amount in outside the cap appropriations for those amounts that are then used to operate the library.
The library is not charged $3 million, Leo. The state changed the statutory requirement to have them now post their own line items. So it used to be under the municipal budget, now it's listed separately on your tax bill. As
The
of
library
3 years ago.
pays this government, is that correct?
The library what, I'm sorry?
The library is charged by this government to pay a certain amount.
No, the library is only charged with this government for the employees that are part of our health insurance plan. That's all. But otherwise, it's statutory, it's what is it, 1/10 or
One third
of
mil
1 cent?
of the,
Yeah.
of the
The
net.
valuation of the
net,
township.
right.
Right, so the library has a statutory funding, and a couple of years ago, the library now gets broken down separately.
Well, what on the, isn't there an entry that shows the library increases the general total, I guess, revenue and appropriations by over $3 million in the township budget?
It's because it's taken out of our budget. That's
Right,
why it's
there's
showing
a
up.
separate levy in the revenue section for the library, and then within the budget, we're required to then have that same amount as an appropriation for the operation of the library.
It's just an accounting issue.
And this library amount that I just referenced is a tax on the property tax.
Correct.
Yes,
And that's for maintenance,
It's
salaries,
to
wages,
operate the library.
to operating expenses,
It's
Well,
to,
The whole
everything.
thing.
salaries, wages, pensions,
Yes.
benefits.
it's to operate
I
the
see some
library.
heads nodding. And is that considered, it's treated as a, from what I saw in the budget, it's treated, is that, are these fees that the library pays? Or are they taxes?
Fees that the library pays.
Well, when I pay my sewer department, it's a fee. It's not a tax. and I can't declare it.
Library is a tax.
Yes, the library is a tax.
It is a tax. Okay. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
You can see I'm college educated, and if I may finish for 15 seconds. I'm college educated, have an advanced degree. I took a 2-credit course in tort law, business law, and a 4-credit course in accounting. And you see how a supposedly educated man that attends many government meetings has difficulty understanding these
Leo, you
documents. That's
you
why-
visit this, come on.
That's why I recommended that we get rid of the higher mathematics that belongs to the assessment system and go to just a simple, maybe a flat tax, a flat income tax. I don't know what kind of income tax, it should go to income tax.
Leo, from your mouth to God's ears, but that's not our decision, unfortunately. Okay,
You could-
are there any other members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 17-142? Okay, seeing no further members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Massell,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 17-142. Next item on tonight's agenda, we have 17-151, a resolution authorizing self-examination of the 2017 budget.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Massell,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 17-151. At this time, we have resolution 17-120, the 2017 municipal budget resolution for adoption.
Move for adoption.
Second. Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Massell,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 17-120. This time we have resolution 17-121, the 2017 solid waste budget resolution.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Massell,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 17-121. At this time, we have resolution 17-152 through resolutions 17-154, including a volunteer firefighter application.
Move for adoption.
Second. Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. For regular meeting agenda items for May 15, 2017, we'll have certificates of appreciation and proclamations, the approval of minutes, a public hearing for proposed ordinances, and introduction of proposed ordinances. For discussion tonight, May 1st, we have discussion of approval of fireworks displays for Navasink Country Club, Beacon Hill Country Club, and the Riverview Medical Center Foundation.
Nothing out of the norm, right?
No, that's what we're saying. And we have the finalization of the Green Acres reimbursement for Kalita, Dempsey, and Smith properties.
Can I ask a couple questions on that? Sure. So where are we with these?
So what happened was we've been approved with the Green Acres funding for this, and they wanted us to spend money from our own pocket to carry out some outstanding work, and that's been carried out. I'm in touch with Green Acres. I in fact spoke to Kathleen Cruz this afternoon as well. We've awarded T&M to carry out the PASI, the preliminary assessment and site investigation, and we've also, some of the outstanding items like survey and things like that, I've collected it from T&M and will be mailing it. We've asked for an extension to the state, and she seems to be amenable to that as well.
And that's great, thank you, that's good that we're moving forward. But I can tell you that I have been to Green Acres on several occasions over these specific properties as mayor as far back as 2011. I know the mayor currently has done yeoman's work. I think I got 1.2 million released, and so did the mayor, because it was at about a $6 million point. But I read the Green Acres letter, and it seems like some of this goes back many years. So why did this take so long?
I had the same question as well. The thing was that in the past, this is what I was told, that in the past, the reason why it took this long was, first of all, they wanted us to spend money upfront. This costs around just an estimate, like $30,000 at the minimum from our pockets, when there was no funding released from them. The funding got released now. And which was one of the reasons, because I was curious as well. And I actually, after I got the letter, I spent literally 3 days going through all the historic files, because that I was as perplexed as you were, that why would it have to take this long? And it was kind of a little bit of misinformation from their end. They make it sound like we've been doing nothing, and that's not true.
So there is money available now, so long as we completed
That
these
is correct.
tasks, we
That is
will
correct.
finally
And that is correct, and
get paid for
That
these
is
properties.
correct. And which would have been a travesty for us to pay money
No,
upfront.
I agree. I don't, if that was the case, and that's very helpful to me. If it was the case that, and I know they weren't approving all of the approvals, if it was a case that why spend money when they're not going to approve it,
Yeah.
completely good strategy.
And
But we need to get this out of the way.
yes, and I also told her, that's the reason why she's become my best friend now, I call her every day. To just keep her updated with what's going on, so.
So the letter was just a little off.
That honeymoon's not gonna last forever.
No, it's not gonna last, but the thing is, if this is the reason behind it, because this morning she said as well that, my director has to be amenable, that's fine,
I'm
we'll talk
amenable
to
to
her.
another trip to Trenton too. I mean, I'll make it 6, and I'll make it 7, but
Yeah.
I know I can meet the mayor there.
And what's funny, I was in a meeting where Steve Giandoli was supposed to attend and he didn't, so I was already ready to ambush him.
Right.
Because that's the thing, you can't threaten a town.
Yeah.
When on your front, we have to be cognizant of how we are spending our funds too.
Absolutely. Are there any other properties aside from, once these come off the books, what else is there that they haven't
I don't believe
reimbursed?
there are any.
Okay,
I
because I know I
don't
haven't
believe-
purchased anything in 8 years.
But I think the money should be coming a little bit quicker in the future because of the bond referendum where they divert some of the corporate tax. So it shouldn't be such an empty fund all the time. Because they have a regular source of funding now, right? Because of that bond referendum.
Yes.
So we shouldn't have to wait this long, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, she did say that, she said, we want to give you the money. She said, just we want this. So I said, you have to give us reasonable time, and I don't want to be, I'd much rather be conservative and tell you that I will require this much time than tell you, oh, I'll get it to you next week, and then next week. I said, I'd much rather give you an honest and upfront timeline. So I'm waiting to get, and as I get information, I think Brian's also working on getting the title and all that, we'll send it over. Some things have changed, and I don't want to get into the minutia of it, but it's been a very complicated process, and I would on record say I'm more fun pulling my teeth without anesthesia.
I'll never refrain commenting.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Then we have the residential development ordinance.
I would like to remind the Township Committee that I'd made a presentation in February to modify the PRD zone. My recommendation would be to modify it, then rescind it, because if you rescind it, it would be, there are three points. One would be that it's not in, it's conflicts with the master plan, which actually recommends this. The second thing is that there are a number of key properties in this town that would benefit from this ordinance. And the third most important thing is that in the 80s, there are numerous properties that were developed using this ordinance, and this would render them non-conforming, and it would just clog up our zoning board at the future date. Now, that being said, this ordinance definitely needs very serious reform, for the lack of better words, and my office has prepared a draft. We are hoping to bring it for introduction on May 15th, and in that what we're recommending is to increase the minimum tract I was recommending 20 acres, but I was 35 acres was suggested to me, and I'm amenable to that. Completely eliminate the density bonuses and the one option I've seen in other towns where you have the developer has to bring in two options. One, if they were to do it by conventional subdivision, and the most important thing this ordinance hopes to do is give a specific standard for the planning board, so they can make a decision, and nobody can come in and really misuse, like find a loophole in this ordinance. That is the key. And for us as a town, we could even have like a, say 50% open space, out of the open space 50% should be upland, so we could have like fields and ball fields, and it's the purpose of which would be to add to our open space.
Right, we've been getting the retention basins.
Right.
That's what they want to do.
Reusable nasty pieces.
But those three items capture the reasons why we would do an amendment to the current.
That is correct.
Rather than an elimination of that.
That is correct.
Can I just, at one point you made, so point one, no performance residential shall be permitted at tracks less than a minimum of 20 or 30. I would like to see it at 30, not 20.
Right, and I was told 35.
35
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
fine
say, can you go
too.
up to 35?
Yes, that's fine. I mean, it really, this is a suggestion. It's, I'm impressed, you do read everything.
That's all.
That's what we were
And I like you.
scrolling through.
I'm good with that. Okay. Good for me, thank you, very, very well done.
I like it.
And we have the ordinance for the PRD zone.
That was this.
The same thing, Heidi.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
and then the next item then is the trade-in on police firearms.
Yeah, no, I thought the chief, the next two items, I thought the chief was going to be here. I believe. Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy. You're sitting right behind me, I knew you were quick.
He's on the cover.
He's a hiding.
He doesn't have a uniform on.
Thank you, that's right.
Those nice binders. Yeah, what is this?
You know, I told him to prepare a presentation for him.
We're collecting those back at the end.
Colleen looks back, she says, $3.95.
It's the fancy bit of large.
I anticipated that. Over the years, we've acquired a number of firearms. In our armored inventory right now, there's a number of older weapons that are 30, 40, 50 years old, some that aren't in use. With the passage of time, the components, springs, cylinders, some of the other parts have a tendency to degrade and break down, wear down, which affects the accuracy and reliability of the weapons. We contacted a vendor, we were interested in purchasing new weapons, and they actually offered us a trade-in on, I think there's an itemized list of 27 of the old ones, shotguns and rifles that are not currently in use, that we have in the armory that really had a service for them on collecting dust. They'd be used by the company to the extent that they could for spare parts for antique weapons of that era. And in lieu of the exchange, we will be getting 16 of the new weapons that we're interested in purchasing, which, considering the value of the property involved, I just want to say.
I just have one question.
Yes.
I suspect that, there's a there's no liability on behalf of the township with regard to this, and that there's a waiver that it gets signed with regard to. I'm sorry?
I said, I believe so, but if not, I'll make sure there is. I'll find out.
I like zero net cost. I like that.
Zero liabilities is better.
Yeah, I'll find that, I'm sure there is.
Quite a few machines, right?
They're over, the additional 16 will be under,
Chief, I know we were buying weapons too, right? Was there any of these?
No, they're not the same ones we bought some, I believe, 2 years ago, or
Yeah.
a year ago, at the end of the year.
Year
This
ago,
this will be, we're still, it's refurbishing and upgrading the armory and some of the other ones. But like I said, these are relatively antiquated, out of service right now, so just not to upgrade and retire the old ones.
So what, do they get destroyed, or do they?
Actually, the ones that are full auto capable machine guns would be destroyed, which is outlined in there. The other ones would be harvested, cannibalized for spare parts.
Good. Now we have the,
That's all right, I'm sorry. I understand.
We have to give them back to the West County.
You'll see these
Number
guys
of
ever
times.
reused it.
Number of times.
Don't like them.
We're all reading what's inside your read about them.
The other item is the curfew for Mischief Night and Halloween being October 30th and 31st. Typically, each year we pass a resolution 30 days prior, and at times it's inconvenient, we're scrambling to come up with it. It's a recurring thing, a fixed date every year. So what I discussed with the clerk's office was an ordinance to have a permanent curfew on October 30th and 31st of each year, being Mischief Night and Halloween night. I have a copy from a neighboring municipality. The ordinance that they use is an annual one. It's been upheld in court as being constitutional. They designate October 29th, 30th, and 31st, all 3 nights, 2 nights prior to Halloween and Halloween night from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m., with the stipulation that if Halloween falls on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then it also applies to November 1st, the following days, the same curfew. They also have during the school year, September 15th to June 15th, they have a curfew in effect from 10 at night until 6 a.m. for all minors under the age of 18. And in the summer, from June 15th till September 15th, it is 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. I wasn't proposing that, but I just wanted to present it to you for consideration. But what we were really looking to do was October 30th and 31st. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is in sync with our neighboring municipalities. I think in 2014, we've done 7 p.m. We actually got some negative feedback. At the time, we raised it to 8 o'clock.
Was it then or was it?
Yeah, I think it was my first year. I recommended 7. We did the school kids.
Yeah, no wandering. I'm strolling.
Chief, again, this is just for Halloween.
That's what I would be recommending is the night prior, Mischief Night, October 30th and October 31st.
And there would be by the PD a little bit of information
Absolutely.
campaign prior to that.
And the clerk's office.
Catchy slogan, something like that.
Cindy Hirsch, I usually. And actually, I mean, nowadays, the trunk or treating has become so much more popular where they're, organized events rather than the door-to-door that we used to see years ago.
Have you had a lot of kids violate the curfew?
No. We were just talking about that, I think incidents of mischief in general are down. Maybe some of the little kids are trick-or-treating past. Right, it's not like it was.
Yes. Thanks.
and then there's proposed resolution authorizing the release of performance guarantee for the Gate College at Madison 2, Phase 2 and 3 site improvements. Do you have any? And then the May 15th scheduled presentations.
Do we have any?
Well, I know there's quite a few.
Oh, I see. The 2 so far.
I want to.
Mayor's heard that.
Yeah. but, so then the exec will be after the meeting.
Am I saying, okay?
We didn't have anything, so. They didn't have that.
We have some, but we will see if we have anything important.
You dispense with the update.
Yeah. So we have township committee comments?
Okay, Mr. Mazel,
Thank you, Mayor. I will hold off on my comments till the regular meeting.
how do you feel? Mr. Marino?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, nothing this evening.
Okay. Regents, ready?
I will be saving my comments as well.
All right, five of a kind. I'm done.
Public comments?
Okay, before we start, I just want to remind everybody to please keep your comments to 5 minutes, and be sure to state your name and address clearly in the record. And Dave, I think you're on.
Yes, okay, thank you. Guess you're all hockey fans, you want to get home to watch the Stanley Cup. But this is Abe Littenberg, 41 Hickory Lane in Lincroft. We're patient but persistent. We're still working toward getting the irrigation for the Village Green. And in fact, to that end, we have a fundraiser, which is a food truck festival, which we had last year with great success, about 3,500 people. This year, we're adding a classic car show, and we have 6 different categories. We're giving prizes out. We should, it should increase the number of people to maybe 5,000. We don't know, but if the weather's right, we should do very, very well.
What date is it?
It is June 16th. It's Friday from 3 until 8 o'clock.
At Brookdale?
It's at Brookdale Community College, parking lot 1.
It's the car show or the food, or the boat?
They're both. They run simultaneously.
I'm sorry, hey, what date is it?
June 16th. It's a Friday.
Friday, okay. All right, and Ted, you're in contact with Dave, right?
Yeah.
All right, so where we are now, they went and examined the electric that's there. They said it's about $300 from what Vic told us for the repair. We've observed at the Normandy Park, the fencing and everything, and we're hoping that you will agree to fence that in, to protect it, as well as, I have a photo here, to pass it around. But this is basically what that looks like.
Right, fenced in area,
Right.
the equipment's fenced in around the pump.
Yeah, 4 sides and the top to
Right.
protect it. And we're in a position that we can write a contract to the well, the people digging the well, and the sprinkler company. But we obviously need the approval of the city, of the township, and we need the agreement to provide the electric, which I kind of think we're pretty close. Is there any?
That's about it, and I think what they're asking for is just permission to put the well, to have a well dug on that property, and to have the township cover the cost of running the electricity to the pump in the well. This will, and obviously, there is a water main running to that site, but watering the irrigation there would be expensive, so the well would kind of eliminate that cost. So if the committee is in a position to approve something like this, we could give them the okay to go ahead and have this well drilled. And we've been out there, we know where we want to put it, and they're going to tie the irrigation system into that well. So the committee feels so inclined, they could approve that.
Yeah, what do you do, just go ahead?
I think that, the general consensus is fine, we can go ahead and do it. And we'll supervise it, make sure everything goes okay with it.
We should probably just do a resolution authorizing the work on the property to formalize it.
Okay.
Do we know if there's iron, it's just iron in it, this brown comes out of it?
Yeah, though, I think they're going to be going deep enough where you shouldn't have problems with the staining of the iron. So.
And we're putting a filter on it too.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be a filter, and we'll maintain it year to year, so that we don't want to it'd be destructive if we didn't do it right.
Right.
So our intention is to maintain it and to have a filter and to
Yeah, it's key. I see a lot of homes that do the wells and then they have a white picket fence, which is beautiful, and then it turns brown because of the rust and the iron in it. And so the filter should take care of that.
Yeah.
I hate you to waste that money.
Pardon me?
I hate you to waste that money and, you know.
Absolutely,
sustain
it'd be the reverse, it'd be deteriorated instead of improving it. But we continue to want to add, you know, more trees, flowers, garden, you know, there's a lot of ideas that we have for sustaining it, and with your approval, we'll go forward.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Now, would a resolution be within, you know, this group now? Or is it?
Brian would have.
I want to specify the block and lot and the parameters, so I'm going to ask Ted to just email me the particulars so that we can plug it into a resolution for the next, probably the next meeting should be.
But that's just a one meeting thing, you know, we
Yeah.
have to introduce it and then.
Great. That's
2
good.
weeks,
Yeah,
Yeah, thank all of you, appreciate it.
okay, thanks. All right, is anybody else here to speak? Yes.
Leah Christophe, a couple of things that Governor Christie's involved in that affects my family and 3.5 million others, maybe individuals. Governor Christie's asking Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, I think it's the sole insurer, I'm not sure of that, but in New Jersey, medical insurance. And Governor Christie is asking for the full amount of $300 million in the, I assume, cash reserve of Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield responded, we'll give you 125, 130 million. And basically, my interpretation that Governor Christie said, no, I don't want the 125, 130 million, I want the 300 million. If he wins, I lose because my premiums will go up, and I'll take that as a direct tax from a Republican leader in New Jersey, and I won't feel too well about Republicans. I'm kind of an independent conservative only, but I find myself voting most frequently for Republican candidates in elections. While I got that off my chest, I'd like to get into the $7.8 billion that Governor Christie has given to
Leo, is
business.
this going to relate to Middletown at all?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure, because
We're two teachers, okay?
you have 5 minutes, I didn't want you to wind up, you know,
Okay.
off course.
I could ask you for a minute or two, and you could oblige, you preside. I say that, state or ask that respectfully, okay?
Time's ranging against it.
Okay, you have the authority. As soon as you say be quiet, I'll be quiet, okay?
Yeah, no.
The governor, over his 7+ years as the governor, has given at least $7.8 billion in the form to businesses, and tax credits, grants, loans, whatever they are. I just want to know specifically here, a cancer a business corporation firm came down from New York and here is up and running a business here in Middletown. So my question is, what has the state done by giving them grants, loans, tax credits, and secondarily, what has Middletown's committee done to give similar types of breaks and expense layouts, such as a pilot thing rather than property tax, whatever? That's a twofold question.
Well, gave to who? To Sloan. The only thing that we did from a pilot perspective was we actually did a pilot agreement with them, which actually was in the benefit of the township committee to the point where they didn't see any reduction of taxes. It just was done in a pilot format. So we actually did not lose any revenue from Sloan Kettering coming in. We actually gained revenue from Sloan Kettering coming in, if I remember correctly.
Right.
As for what the state does, that's their business. I mean,
Just a follow-up question. Can I, through Oprah, gain access
to the agreement?
to the Middletown committee's agreement, settlement, whatever you gave them? You used language that says that the Middletown didn't lose any money. Yeah, but if you didn't go through a pilot, you may have gotten more.
No, that's not
Incorrect.
correct. It's
because
here, let me correct, it's actually not a pilot. Under the law, as it's
It's hard to
called.
get educated.
It's, I will educate you, Leo. The property otherwise would have been fully tax exempt, but for maybe a small portion of it. So, we negotiated what I would refer to, it's really a voluntary pilot agreement, if you will. Legally, they're really under no obligation to, as the law stands today, to pay us anything. So when we negotiated that agreement was designed to maintain and actually begin at the level at which the revenue that was being generated from the building was at that point, and maintain it was around $160,000, $170,000 a year, with an escalation up to 3% a year, but it escalates at the same rate as the tax levy each year, up to a maximum of 3%. So I don't think since that time the tax levy's never increased more than 3%. So it's been increasing in step.
And was
every
that
year
kind
with
of
the tax
a
levy.
crapshoot that if you didn't offer them that kind of financial break, they would not have removed from New York down to here? Is it a crapshoot?
No, it wasn't to incentivize them. That was the state's part of the deal. That had nothing
You
to do
were
with the
compelled
township
to
per
offer
se.
this?
No,
the
nobody
town-
was compelled to do
Well, once the
anything.
state
We were
decides to
compelled,
come in,
we were
you're
compelled,
compelled
the township was trying not to lose money.
Right.
Which it otherwise would have left if they declared the
Once the
exempt
state's
status.
gonna bring them in, the township's compelled to try to keep the revenue, which we did, and Mr. Nelson and others did a yeoman's work to at least keep the revenue coming, because once a non-for-profit takes it, they don't have to pay taxes, technically.
And Leo, they didn't actually remove from New York. They've been opening up in New Jersey several outpatient sites, so they're still in New York as well. They're just opening up more places in New Jersey.
And you know,
So
Leo,
we were lucky to get one.
in traditional property tax arrangement, we get 21%. We get 95% of this.
Right, the county.
95, the county gets 5. So we're actually getting more revenue than in a traditional, which we wouldn't have gotten anything if we didn't work out this deal, this arrangement with them.
I
So
suspect,
this is a huge win. You should go home feeling good about this.
well, as long as it lowers my taxes, yes.
Well, it would be
I don't want it to be
$190,000
flat.
hole.
I don't want it flat tax. I want to see lower tax. Thank you. I'm finished.
Okay, thanks, Leo. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Seeing no further members of the public come forward, we'll close the public portion and move for adjournment.
Second. Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Casal.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray. Yes. Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
How does he used to get away with the curfew that they have?
Let's take it for
My guess would be that you